Start the recording. And we're going to say good morning to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And we are going to start setting up the Facebook. And, and now I'm going to get the song started. Now this is a new person. I think her name is on the slide. You'll see it when I get her up there. Share sound. Her name is Patricia. No, that's not what I wanted to share. Let's try it again. Let's get rid of that. Don't need that up there. Here we go. Okay. Enough messing around. I think I've got it. I think I've got it now. Here we go. This is where I want to be. And I'm going to share. This woman's name is, I can move my Trish. Can y'all hear the sound?
Sitting here in traffic, got the radio on. I'm drumming on the dashboard and I'm singing along. People give me looks 'cause they don't understand. That's just the way I am. I like to talk to strangers every chance I get, 'cause a stranger's just a friend I haven't met yet. I'm 20 minutes late everywhere I go. I stop to smell the flowers and go with the flow. It's all good. No, I don't need a change. It's all good. I'm finding my own way. It's all good. It's all good. People think I'm crazy 'cause I like myself the way I am, not trying to be nobody else. They say it's extraordinary, even revolutionary.
You know, I have my Ethernet cable on, so I'm not sure why it's skipping here on us. Let's try it again.
Be the way I am, 'cause I'm always looking out through rose-colored lenses. They say it's high time I come to my senses, but I'm not trying to fit in no one else's shoes. I'm happy being me, the way that I choose. It's all good. Don't try to change my mind. It's all good. I see the silver lining. All good. It's all good. Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying that I'm happy all the time. I got my highs, I got my lows, but I'd rather see the glass half full, 'cause it makes for a lighter low. It's all good, yeah. It's all good, yeah. Good. It's all good. It's all good, yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, oh, yeah, yeah. Good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It is all good. Okay, I'm gonna stop that share. Oops. There we go. I've never had that happen, and I'm wondering if I just shared the sound instead of the picture, if it would work a little better. I'll try that next time. Well, good morning, Gisela. I see you popped in.
Morning.
And anyway, it's a new lady I never listened to before. Her name is Patricia Bahia. And I'm loving her music. So I just wanted to share that with you. And Rob is our practitioner of the day. No,
No, I think I'm next. I think I'm next week.
who's the
Did I
next?
get that wrong?
Lisa, are you next week?
No, I'm benediction today.
Okay.
Holy moly!
You know what?
I,
You can pray,
yeah,
Rob. Just pray us in. That's all we need.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm also
Not
gonna
with
double
it.
check that.
Not
Uh
worry. I'm gonna
okay,
send you a copy of October's schedule. I
that is
I have it
fair.
here. I have it right here, and it's you.
Yeah. Wow. That's 2 weeks in a row I've messed up. My apologies to everyone. I normally plan better than this.
not to worry.
Anyway,
And your benediction next week.
okay, got it backwards. All righty. Well, I tell you what, for lack of anything better to say, and completely off the subject of the practitioner of the day spiel, I do have a little experience with skipping YouTube videos because I use them every single day. I exercise for about half an hour to 45 minutes every day, and I watch YouTube videos that keep me pumped. And what I've learned is when it starts doing that, I go back to the link that I clicked on to get to the YouTube page and click it again. And the second time, it pretty much always works. So we can just file that away for something to try.
All
Um,
right.
in any event, Lisa, the fact that you've got
Do you want to know what
the
I'm talking
schedule,
about?
why not?
Okay. So what I'm talking about this week is we're talking about power, right? We've been talking about
Mhm.
power all month. We've talked about that there's only one power, the power of God, and that we individualize it at our point of consciousness, and then it becomes our power. And today we're talking about how that individualized power becomes our collective power because we're all thinking into the same mind, and how we can utilize that by setting a powerful group intention. When I was doing the meditation this morning, I talked about how can you imagine if we connected with all the people in the world who are holding that frequency, that vibrational frequency of peace, and what a big amplitude that would be for all of us, and what a glorious world we could create together. So that's basically, that's the talk in a nutshell.
I don't know if you can read this. It says text Michelle. The idea was I was going to ask you what you were going to talk about next week so I could prepare some sort of.
You
I
know
need to
what,
be
Rob?
committed.
Honestly, I am more than thrilled that you are here. And all I'm going to invite you to do today is to just pray for
Fair,
that collective consciousness of peace to rise up and envelop our world.
fair enough. All right, and sometimes when I do have the gig of doing the crack of the day thing, it's all I do is wall to wall prayer. I've done that before, and it worked out just fine. So I invite everyone to just relax, sit back, close your eyes, and enjoy the goodness of what we have right here, right now. Just and let it expand, because as we place our attention on the joy, on the good, on the good feelings that we have right here, they expand. They always do. And that means that life just got better. And that's why we're all here. The whole concept that life is good and it's getting better, and we can accelerate that process. And so we are doing that right now together as a group consciousness. That's the whole point behind One Heart, One Mind, is that we can come together and create something even greater than something, a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts. And so feeling that and feeling the goodness and feeling the joy and feeling the God, it's undeniable that it's here, that it's all around each and every one of us, that it's all around us collectively. And it is undeniable that it is there. It is becoming more and more tangible, more and more experiential. And the whole concept of our service this morning is that we are here sharing this experience, that we are feeling the expansion of ourselves and the expansion of our group. And so I am so grateful that this is the case. I am so grateful for the way God works, that this is how it works. This is how we experience our lives together. And it's what's so wonderful about our shared experience. Thank you, God, that this is so. Thank you, God, for the service today, knowing that the music is good, and it's already good, and knowing that the talk is good, and knowing that every part of what we do today is absolutely wonderful. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I release my word, and together we say, and so it is.
It is.
So it is beautiful. And that is just beautiful. I got to tell you, your mere presence to me is always a gift, and I'm just glad you're here. It really is. I don't mean that. That's not hyperbole. So did you want to read this?
Might as well. October's affirmation. I am still and receptive to life. I let life flow through me in all I think, say, and do. I let life be what it is without worry or complaint. Daily, I enter into the stillness of my soul where God speaks to me, and so it is.
That's taken from the words of our beloved Ernest Holmes. All right, so let's do a little bit more music. And this is, you'll know exactly who it is as soon as you see it, because it's got their pictures. It's a video, and these are familiar faces. It's Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, and Amy Bishop. And I may have played this before. I honestly do not recall. But it doesn't matter because it's fabulous, and I know you're going to enjoy it. And here we go. I hope we don't have any. We will not have any glitches. Oops. Play well. There we go.
When you're losing your way, when it's too much to take, when your will is broken, I'm here. I can be your shelter, be your safe place to land. When your heart feels empty, I'm here. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us, and love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. If the future's unknown and the path's overgrown, I will cradle your soul. Don't fear. Don't fear. Though you don't have the answers, may not know where to go, but what you need is inside you. Just trust, and you'll know. You'll know. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us. I'm your light in the storm. I'm your cause to come home. I'm your beacon of hope. You can count on me. You can count on me. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us. Love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. I know it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. I know it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. Love will always find a way. Love always finds a way. It's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. Hold my hand, it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. It's gonna be okay. Love will always find Love always finds a way. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. It's gonna be okay. I know. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I know. I know.
Well, other than the glitches, the message was perfect. Love always finds a way. And that's really what we're talking about today, is that we're never alone. And there is always the whole of creation supporting us and being with us. And so I'm going to change the view to speaker for the recording. And I just want to say good morning again. Good morning to everyone who is a part of One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living, anyone who has ever been a part of One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living, and anyone who will ever be a part of our beautiful center. And I just want to say that for the recording, anybody that joins us later, if you're joining us on real time or replay, and you know what, I'm just glad you're connecting with us in some way. And as always, it is my intention that something in the service uplifts, inspires you, something reminds you of who you are, reminds you that you are this divine, magnificent being having a human experience. So welcome. As we were just talking about, October's focus is power, which I think is just such a fascinating topic. We talk so often about power in the science of mind philosophy. And last week I mentioned that our founder, Ernest Holmes, refers to power over 165 times in the Science of Mind textbook. So we're exploring power from a metaphysical perspective, recognizing that there's only one power, the power of God, the power of the one life, and that we personalize this power at our point of understanding and embodiment. And that is where it becomes our power. And today we're going to take a look at how we can come together in our collective power, how we can come together in a common intention, collectively stay with that intention and build momentum around it, recognizing that what we hold in our individual consciousness contributes to the collective consciousness. Who we are, what we think, what our point of consciousness impacts the whole. And when we come together in a collective intention, it becomes even more powerful. So in case you missed the last two Sundays, which I don't think anybody online right now did, but for those who may be listening later, in case you missed the last two Sundays, let's just kind of briefly revisit our definition of power and how Ernest Holmes defines power. Holmes defines power as the energy by which everything lives. That's pretty big. He defines power as that invisible something that animates all life. It moves in and through and as us. It is life itself. Oh, and then I'm going to repeat that quote that I read last week because I think it's so powerful. He also said, and I quote, "We are dealing with a power that makes things out of itself by becoming the thing that it makes. There's no separation between the creator and its creation. They're one and the same thing." So in essence, what he's saying is that there is this original creative energy, and all things are made out of it. Everything is made out of God stuff. And because we're all made out of God stuff, we share its nature. And our nature is inherently creative, as is the creator's. And we have this ability to consciously participate with its laws. Last week I mentioned that the origin of the word power comes from an old French word that means to be able, which to me says that power is the ability to take the qualities and the attributes of God, the one first cause that we're all made out of, and to express these qualities into being, into form, into the physical world as our lives. And this happens through the action of law. Power, to me, then, it has to include both these things: the divine presence or first cause, the energy by which everything lives, and the power of law to bring into form whatever exists within this divine presence, this first cause. One can't exist without the other. One is expressed through the other. The presence is expressed through the law, and we are a point of that expression. In the science of mind, we teach that if we want to express something or demonstrate something in our lives, we must first become in consciousness what it is we want to demonstrate. And because the thoughts and the feelings we hold in consciousness at our point of expression vibrate at a particular frequency, we have to resonate at the same frequency as the thing we want to demonstrate. I like to say we must become a vibrational match to the thing that we want to demonstrate. We must become in consciousness our answered prayer, in other words. We resonate at the level of the answered prayer, and we start by thinking, which becomes our feeling, which becomes our state of being. And our state of being is a particular vibrational frequency. And this is what demonstrates in our lives. This is what the law does. And to demonstrate something, we actually have to do a little bit more than just to think about it. We have to feel it. We have to embody it. We have to become it first in consciousness. And then we have to move anything out of the way that may be in contradiction to what we'd like to demonstrate. We use or participate with the power of God by focusing on what we want to demonstrate. This is our intention. And we give our intention our consistent attention. And we allow that vibrational frequency of our intention to flow through us unimpeded, which fires up the law and demonstrates in our lives. And this is how we personalize the power of God, to use it as our power, to have it become our power. And while everything begins at our point of individualized consciousness, we must also keep in mind that we're thinking, feeling, being within the one mind of God, that beautiful, big, infinite one mind of the divine. And we contribute to the whole of this life through our individual point of consciousness. And what we contribute to the whole matters. What we think, what we hold at the vibrational level that we sit, we matter. When I was teaching full time, I used to do a little project around a little book called Stone Soup. You may have read it or heard of it if you have grandkids or kids. You know, and I just think it's a wonderful metaphor for how we all contribute to the collective whole, to the collective good. So the story goes like this, that there's this mysterious stranger who arrives in this small village. And he claims that he has a magical stone that can be used to make soup over and over again. You know, everybody in the town is like, yeah, they kind of scoff in disbelief. But to prove it, the mysterious stranger brings a large pot of water to boil in the middle of the village square. And he throws in the magical stone. And as the water begins to boil, you know, sometimes that takes a while, especially if you're watching it. As the water begins to boil, he declares to himself, maybe some spices would just make it a little bit better. So someone in the town goes and gets some spices and adds them to the water. And the water continues to boil, and now he has everyone fascinated, right? He's got their attention. And one of the other bystanders says, well, you know, maybe some potatoes and some carrots would just kind of top it off just right. And so then those get added. And when the soup is just about to be done, the carrots and the potatoes, another stranger says, well, you know, maybe a little bit of meat and some flour may just kind of round the soup off really well. And this goes on like that for a while, people contributing to making the soup. And in the end, of course, the villagers are amazed at what the magic stone has done. And they have this wonderful feast together, and everyone enjoys it and celebrates the soup that the magical stone made, right? So collectively, they created something much better and probably easier, more easily than if one person had done it alone. Yeah, one person could have done it, but this was just a collective miracle in their minds. Together, they had all the resources that they need. They needed all this stuff, but they had it collectively. And you know, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get trapped in thinking that, you know, I have very little to contribute. You know, I start focusing on the scarcity in my life. Can I really afford to give that? You know, maybe I should hang on to it. I might need it myself. You know, I get caught up in the scarcity of life instead of seeing the rich abundance that is everywhere around me. Sometimes I forget that I'm not alone, that there's this great vast reservoir of life, of substance expressing through each of us, and that we all have ingredients to contribute to the soup. We all have something unique and different to contribute to the whole, you know, just a unique way of contributing from that infinite potential, that wellspring of our own being, which is God's good. You know, just in this spiritual community, just in one heart, one mind. Think about it. We have all different ways of adding love and humor and insights and wisdom and creativity and passion. All the things that make us such a vibrant community, we all have together. And we each put in our ingredients into the soup. We're all fed. We're all nourished. You know, we're an amazing example of how coming together in a collective intention creates an atmosphere of good, you know, of love and joy. I mean, we're online, but I can feel it through coming from each of you. We all have something wonderful to share with each other, you know, and we do. So, you know, we probably all grew up learning about Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection. It's been referred to mostly as the survival of the fittest. And while I think Charles was definitely onto something, what scientists have discovered more recently is that survival doesn't depend so much on one species overpowering another to survive. It depends more on how well a species learns to cooperate with its environment, how well it adapts and supports not only the members of its own species, but other species in its environment as well. So I found this little book called Finding the Mother Tree. It's written by an author, a woman named Suzanne Simard. I don't know exactly how to say her name. I'm kind of guessing. But anyway, in her book, she challenges this perspective of survival of the fittest. You know, she writes about how in school, we're shown pictures of forests, and the forests have these big tall trees and these little short trees. And then we're told that the tall trees will eventually overpower the short trees. And because the tall trees, they get up there and they get all the precious sunlight and they have deeper roots. And so they get all the water and the nutrients. And eventually the smaller and weaker trees will struggle and die out. But Simard and other scientists have proved that this theory is not necessarily true. They've discovered that, well, I love this, that within nature there exists a kind of collective altruism. Isn't that a lovely term? Collective altruism. That the larger trees actually support and sustain the smaller trees. They've discovered that the trees and plants, they communicate and they share information and resources. Simard calls it a vast green brain. I love that too. And they've discovered that there's actually this network that exists in the soil, on forest floors, probably in jungles too, where water and nutrients and chemicals move through it. And that this network, it kind of acts the same way as our neural transmitters act in our neural pathways in our own bodies. And Simard says that we can no longer see trees as these solitary creations trying just to survive for themselves. We have to see them as examples of what she calls this grand interdependence. Everything is interwoven and interdependent, even though each tree, each of us, adds our own unique contribution. We all together make the stone soup. And nature is just such a glorious example of this kind of interdependence of life, the way in which, as Holmes called it, energy, the energy by which everything lives combines and is woven so beautifully together. And we get to witness this in the visible world all around us, because if it's true in the visible world, it's true in the invisible world, because the invisible world sources everything. And this is not a new idea. This is not some new contemporary idea. It's an ancient idea. It's echoed in all of the ancient traditions and the ancient spiritual scriptures. And we're probably all familiar with this one. It's a familiar quote for us if we grew up in a Christian household, or even just in our society. It's from the Bible. It's from Matthew 18:20, and it says, "For whenever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there among you." The power of the divine is magnified when we are 1, 2, 3, 4 points of consciousness coming together. There's power in that collective consciousness. A momentum is created when we share an intention. I've been reading Lynn McTaggart's book, The Power of Eight, and she has done some amazing research with other scientists, but they've done rigorous and intensive experiments on the power of collective consciousness with amazing results. And I know I mentioned this before, but the one thing that really has blown me away in reading her book and hearing about the testimonials from people who have been using her Power of Eight process, most amazing thing is that what she calls the mirror effect, in which the participants, while they're holding an intention for someone else, have remarkable healings and shifts in their own lives, which just further confirms for me that we're all using the same mind. As when we do affirmative prayer for someone else, we have the same experience. Our own life is uplifted. Our own life expands and shifts into the flow of the good of the divine. It's the same field of consciousness, but there's greater power when we come together in a shared intention. So as I was putting together today's talk, I got to this point and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff, but what do we know? And so I just did this whole blurb about what we know. So I'm going to remind myself, I'm going to put my notes in. Here's what we know. We know that everything is energy. Einstein told us that. He said everything's energy. And we know that energy vibrates, which means if everything in the universe is energy and energy vibrates, that everything vibrates. And we know that everything vibrates at a particular frequency. We know that a rock and a human being do not vibrate at the same frequency. They have different frequencies. They all vibrate, but they vibrate at a different frequency. We know that the qualities that we attribute to God or the divine presence, whatever you want to language that as, things like peace and love and freedom and abundance and wholeness, vitality, joy, we could go on. They all vibrate at a higher frequency than the things that we attribute to our personality or ego selves, fear, resentment, frustration, confusion, lack, limitation. Love vibrates higher than fear, abundance higher than lack, vitality higher than disease. You get the idea. And we're not judging one good and the other bad. As human beings, we experience all these things. But the qualities of the higher vibrations feel better to us. They're much more enjoyable. We'd much rather live in love than fear. And so we know that we can use our feelings as navigating tools to help guide our thoughts so that we feel better. And we also know that each of us vibrates at our particular state of being. Our state of being is the habituated patterns of our thoughts and our feelings, both conscious and unconscious. And they create a particular vibrational frequency. We could say that our state of being is our personal vibrational frequency, but it's not fixed. We can change it whenever we want to through our thoughts through that process. And we also know that there is a creative law that picks up this vibrational frequency and expresses it as form and experience in our individual lives. We know that while we are individualized expressions of the universal whole, we are also thinking and feeling into a larger whole, the larger collective consciousness, and we contribute to this larger collective consciousness. And I just learned this new term, and I'm really excited to share it with you. You might already know it, but it was new to me. I was familiar with the concept, but I didn't know that there was actually a scientific term for it. We know that there is a principle. It's actually a law of physics called constructive interference. My brand new learning. Constructive interference says that when two vibrational frequencies with equal wavelengths meet or interfere with each other, the size of the wave doubles. They combine to form a wave of even greater amplitude. I'm just like, wow. I just love it when science and spirituality come together. It just always blows me away. But we can think of it like this. So imagine that you have two pebbles and you throw them into a pond, one on the right, one on the left. And now you have two concentric circles of waves rippling out from where you threw the two stones. And when they meet in the middle, where they intersect, where the waves come together in the middle, they create an even larger combined ripple. Our thoughts, our feelings, our state of being carry a vibrational frequency or a wave. And when the frequency we carry is in harmony with the frequency that others carry, they are amplified. Our collective power is greater than the individual waves created by only one stone. There's that word again, power. When two or more are gathered together in my name, when two or more carry the intention with a common frequency, they are magnified. Yeah, I really do just get so excited when I come across a scientific principle that helps us understand a spiritual principle in a new way, especially one that is really so fundamental to so many spiritual traditions and philosophies, which this is, that when two or more come together. So we know that the universe responds and amplifies and echoes our dominant vibrational frequency, that we individualize the power of God at our point of consciousness. There's no denying that. But the combined power of a collective intention, of constructive interference, is a power that I believe personally can change our world. Can you imagine what will happen when billions of minds and hearts come together in a shared intention of peace? And of course, we know that it's not just about longing and hoping for peace. It's about collectively visualizing, vibrating, intending, resonating with peace. If every one of us chose, even for a few minutes a day, to focus on peace, on healing the wounds of war, on visualizing a world of unity and peace and prosperity, the resulting wave of constructive interference would be overwhelming and transformative. And, of course, we don't forget the victims of war, poverty, and injustice. We don't disregard those that still suffer. For them, we come together, like that song said, I have enough love for all of, for both of us, in a shared vision, a united focus of positive energy, of healing vibrational frequencies for their recovery, for their peace. So here's what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that we come together to use our understanding of constructive interference to collectively imagine, intend a world of unity, peace, and prosperity for all. Because every moment we spend with this vision amplifies its power. And eventually it kind of edges humanity further and further toward a world of unity, peace, and prosperity, so that we can all experience this shared reality. And I know we can do it. So I am committed to doing this every day, to coming together, imagining myself radiating with every other mind, soul, heart that has this intention. And I truly believe that we can create and sustain, through a shared intention, a world that is unified, that is peaceful, that is prosperous, that everyone loves to live in. So I invite you to do that with me. So let's pray. Let's pray a little bit. So let's come together in that shared knowing of the all that is God, that is this one first cause, this energy by which everything lives, as Holmes calls it. I love that. It's probably my new saying, the energy by which everything lives, including us. We are in it. We are the jewels at the connection in Indra's net. And there are an infinite number of us expanding and resonating at peace and love. And so I speak my word, my powerful word, with my whole mind, my whole heart, my whole state of being, with my entire vibrational frequency. I hold this space of unity, of peace, of prosperity, of joy for every living being on our beautiful planet Earth, for our planet itself. I continue to hold this space for our country as we watch this new paradigm of love being birthed. As we move through this contentious election, knowing that none of that is true, that the truth is we all live in the divine presence of peace, unity, prosperity, and joy together. We resonate there. We create that constructive interference together right here, right now. And our word, our thought, our being is supported by the power of law. We think it, we know it, we hold it, and law makes it happen. To be able to. So I'm just so grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful. Or as I like to say, I'm just so stinking grateful. Ah, I stand in that gratitude and it opens us up even wider. I know this is true for all. So we relax in this truth. We just allow it to be and we say together, and so it is. So it is. Yay. So it is. So it is all. So that's my new thing, my new learned word, constructive interference. I love that idea. You know, I even looked for a picture. I couldn't find a good enough one, but I looked for a picture that had that image of two, I bet we could find one if we looked, two stones in the pond, and then their ripples coming out and intersecting and then being magnified, rippling out even larger. What a great visual that is. Anyway, that's what we want to do. Yeah. All right. So, Lisa, are you doing the benediction, dear?
Yes.
I believe you said you were. So I'm going to get this up on my screen here.
Okay.
Oh, what the heck's up with my YouTube thing today? But oh well. It's never done that before. It will never do it again. Let
We
me,
will have the intention for perfection.
yeah, well, we got the message.
Yeah.
I don't know why, for some reason, my screen has, there we go. That's better. That's more better. Here we go. Let me get it up. There we are.
Okay. Well, I think that it's like having this intention of prosperity, gratitude, and peace allows us then to be generous in terms of our own intention for one heart, one mind, and providing support for it to continue so that we can continue to be blessed and educated by um, Michelle's fabulous channeling of spirit. So at any rate, the ways that you can give is through Venmo, as you know, or you can send a check to One Heart One Mind, 1637 East Valley Parkway, number 2035, Escondido, California, 92027.
Thank you, Lisa. Let me get the other one up for you.
Okay.
They don't come up together anymore. Oh, well. Let's get, here we go. I was thinking that maybe it might be time to tweak our sacred giving, but it is a beauty. And I
Yeah,
like
it
to
is. It's a
fresh.
good
I
one.
love to
And I'm
fresh.
sorry, I haven't memorized it. So
That's okay.
my brain is not so good for memorizing these days.
Okay, here we go. Here it is.
There we are. Okay, we could say it together. Everything flows from the nature of God's good. We give and receive from this flow in gratitude and love. We rest in the infinite giving nature of spirit. And so it is.
Thank you, Lisa. Wow. So let's see. This week we have our prayer group on Monday, as per usual. We also have, we're going to do chapter 6 in Happy for No Reason, which I sent out to you, right? Yes. And it is the pillar of the body. Make yourselves happy. That's great. And then there's no prayer group this week. You guys had the prayer group last week. And then next week we're coming up on our kind of our culmination of the things we've talked about power. And yeah, and that's where we are. That's all I can think of right now. So, all right, Lisa, I'm going to invite you to do the benediction. And then I'm going to play I'm just going to share the music, not the screen this time. And hopefully it won't be as glitchy. I know it won't be.
Okay. Okay, so why don't we come together now and center in, taking a nice deep breath and pulling in that sense of connection and peace and the power of that invisible, silent sense of peace that we can have when we pray. And to know that we are all connected to one another, even though we are individualized expressions of the one. That is how we are connected to one another and to every living being on the planet. And so I think that one of the values that I see that I would speak today is that in the coming together today, being reminded of that fact, it's so easy to feel alone or to feel separated from what it is, how we see peace, and to be reminded that as we maintain that frequency within ourselves of peace and prosperity and love, that it does, that frequency, that vibration expands out and connects with all the other people who are holding that in their heart and soul. And as that expands and expands, then the reality of it spreading to the places that are in pain and are unaware of the value of peace or the willingness to experience it, that it comes to them. And that is how peace on earth begins to emerge into the consciousness of the whole world. And I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity and that we've been blessed today by the words of Reverend Michelle and by the coming together in the intention of our own sense of coming together for peace, for connection, for love, for being in the space of spirit, in having set aside this time to live in that world of invisible love, power, energy, creativity, prosperity, and permanent peace. And so I release my word with grateful thankings into the law, knowing that it is done, and it will be expressed in many ways as we go through our days. And so I release my word into the law by saying, and so it is.
So it is. Wow. Beautiful, Lisa. Thank you. So I love this song. I'm just going to share the music. I'm not going to share the screen. And it's called We Are One Love. And I thought it would perfectly top off the topic for today. Hear it?
No walls between our hearts, and no walls between our souls. Where you begin and where I start, who I am and who you are. Oh, we are one. We are one. We are one love. One love without
Yay.
I thought that was a perfect song to top off our service. And that was by that same woman. It was with someone else. Austin Wiley and Patricia Bahia were the name of the singers in there. And I happened to stumble across this, it's so funny how that happens. You stumble across something and you were like, wow. So I'm just going to go ahead and say goodbye to our Facebookers that are joining in, and I'm going to say goodbye to our recording. I'm going to stop that there now.